Welcome to the channel. My name is Michael. I'm going to give you a list of things or maintenance, how to get your car to 500,000 miles. Now it's going to vary based upon the make and model of your car, but I'm basing it off of my Corolla Hybrid, which I nearly got 500,000 miles. I got 481,000 miles and some change, I think like 950 or something like that, and I gave the car to my younger brother. He's 24 years old. He's been out of college for like a year and he still doesn't have a car. I thought it best to give him the car. The main things I did was really the center of it was just changing the oil. Now, the other parts are going to wear down based upon use. Follow your maintenance schedule. So you're going to go online. You're going to get your year, make, and model and see what are the intervals for your oil changes, normally between 5,000 and 7,000 miles. I run mine to like 7,000 or 8,000 miles. Sometimes I do run it to 10. But you change your oil at 5,000 miles, all right? A lot of you ask, what do you do? Because people want to see, what do you do? I run mine over 7,000, all right? Transmission fluid, between 30 and 60. How many miles your car is recommended to change the transmission fluid? Automatic or manual. Cooling system maintenance, which is the flush. You're going to inspect the hoses, make sure you don't have any leaks. Timing belt or chains, 90 to 100,000 miles. Again, you have to check your service data for your specific year, make, and model. You got variable valve timings, solenoids. Some of them are electronic, some of them run off of oil pressure. You have to research what you have and change it at the proper interval. Check brake fluid and power steering fluid. Flush. Now on Corollas, and I think pretty much all the new cars with electric steering, you don't have power steering fluid. So that's only with traditional gasoline cars you have power steering fluid. You would get they just like these little strips you can put in. I know you guys are not going to do this. You can just look at the color and you can tell if there's moisture in there, but you can't always tell just by looking at the color. So you're supposed to get these, I forget the name of the strips, like hydroscopic strips or something like that. That can actually, you can put in the fluid to see how much moisture is in the actual brake fluid. And you can check it on the brake fluid reservoir. Every 30,000 miles. I know you guys are not going to do that one though, but if you want to know how to keep your car up to 500,000 miles, these are things you're going to have to look at. All right, your brakes are going to be affected. Your brakes are not going to feel the same as day one when you first bought the car or year one. So when you start feeling differences, or before you start feeling difference, say around 50,000 miles, check how much fluid is in your brake fluid, how much water is in your brake fluid. All right, change your air filters. You should already know that. All right. Now, I normally don't start my car up and just pull off. All right, I normally let my car idle for at least 3 to 5 minutes before I pull off. All right, because when the car idles, it does wear and tear the engine more than when it's driving down the road. So you got to consider that. Give it time to warm up. At least let the needle move a little bit before you pull off. I know you guys are in a hurry. I'm in a hurry all the time. I'm not going to wait, but I'm at least let the needle move a little bit before I know I pull off. And I'm not going to be redlining the engine. All right, and avoid excessive idling. You should already know that. Now, sometimes when I'm, dwelling, I let the car idle for 45 minutes. That's just the nature of what I'm doing right now, and that keeps everything warm. Or when it's cold, when it's warm outside, keeps everything cold for 45 minutes, and the car automatically, for the hybrid, the Rav4 automatically shuts down by itself. All right, then that's desirable, because I don't want to idle it perpetually unless it's an extreme circumstance. All right, but here in the which is the end of winter, still a little on the cold side. You're getting 30s and 40s and 50s. At nighttime, it's like in the high 20s or low 30s or mid 30s. So it's still gonna be cold. So I pretty much let the engine idle for about 45 minutes and let it shut down by itself. All right, and then use a sleeping bag or a blanket, and I have a battery with an electric heater. that I'll use, periodically, all right, throughout the night. All right. Ideally, I would just like to sleep through the night using blankets or a sleeping bag. When you see leaks, try to fix them quickly before they get massive, and then you lose a lot of oil pressure, and you start getting engine parts wearing prematurely. All right, so if you see oil leaks, fix them immediately. Now you can baby your car, hypermile your car to get the best gas mileage. Like you have the eco, normal, and then sports mode. Everything you just driving your car wear and tears your car. All right, so if you want to baby your car, very light acceleration, use cruise control, don't rev the engine really high. That'll help increase the longevity of your engine. But a lot of you guys are not going to do that. But that's a point, because you want to get around in traffic. You got places to go. Replace differential and transfer case fluid every 30,000 and 60,000 miles. Now check your manufacturer recommended intervals. Now on electric cars and hybrids with all-wheel drive, in this car I don't have a drive shaft, so I don't have a differential with lubrication in it. It's an electric motor back there, so I don't have to worry about that. Battery replacement. You're going to replace your battery every 3 to 5 years. Really, what you're going to do, you're just going to use the battery until it dies on you, and then change the battery. That's pretty much what you're going to do. All right, now you can check it with the multimeter and see if it's still getting 12.6 volts. All right, you can do that, and do a load test on the battery if you want. Some of you still have traditional gasoline cars. You can do the crank test and measure the voltage drop when you're cranking the engine. Now, if you have a hybrid car or an electric car, I don't think it's going to drop. So, because the 12-volt battery, not the hybrid battery, is only powering like the internal lights, I believe the headlights, door locks, windows, things like that. High voltage battery is going to start your engine and control the electric motor up front, the small electric motor. Rust prevention. You see rust, tackle it immediately before it spreads. Proper procedure, slow that rust down. Get a OBD2 scanner. Get a cheap one, and you don't have to get an expensive one. It depends on how deep you are. I have a cheap one, small device with the OBD2 port, and I have an expensive one, like a $300 to $500 one. So that's like for viewing data. It's bi-directional. You really don't need that, but if you really want to have the advantage, I would get one. And lastly, find a trustworthy mechanics. Mechanics have a reputation for upselling you things that you don't need or you might need in the future, which sometimes they're right, but if you don't need it right now, I wouldn't get it. And it depends on how much you drive too. If you drive a lot, it's more urgent that you get the parts now. If you don't really drive that much, you can kind of stretch that farther down the line. But don't neglect it though. Write it down, keep it on the forefront of your mind. And if you can't find a trustworthy mechanic, learn how to fix these cars yourself. They're not that complicated. Don't be intimidated by these cars. You can read and learn almost anything. All right? And you have a wealth of knowledge on YouTube. You have books. You have online training. You can fix simple maintenance. You can do your own oil changes. You can change your own battery. You can get a mediocre or a cheap set of hand tools, sockets and wrenches, and certain specialty tools. As if you can't find them at like an AutoZone or Pep Boys. I don't know. Pep Boys even still sell parts? I don't think so. But like Advanced Auto or Napa. And if you can't find them there, like specialty tools, you can order them online. You can order through the dealer website, or you can order through a third party. Invest in a decent impact gun. All right, where you can do suspension parts. All right. I have a Milwaukee, I believe it's the mid-grade Milwaukee impact, and I have impact sockets. I did on my Corolla the front wheel hub assemblies, and if I needed to do the shocks or any suspension part, I could easily use that impact to change those parts. Write things down when you get your mileage after you do your oil change. Write it down on a electronic pad, like a keep. I think I use Keep Notes from Google Keeps, and I write my oil change intervals down. I write the date. I write the which is like the month, day, year, and mileage, and everything I did that day to the car. So I'll keep a clean record, because if I write it on a piece of paper, it's going to get thrown somewhere, put in a folder or a clipboard, and buried under something, and then possibly thrown out. So I always keep on the phone, on the app, because I'm always going to be on the phone anyway. And lastly, don't panic. Everything's going to be okay. You can do these repairs with a little guidance and confidence. Build your confidence up by watching videos like this.